Dengar tak suara?
Dengar.
Dengar. Okay. Alright. Kita
Cikgu
start lah.
dengar suara kita orang?
Dengar.
Okay. Start terus.
Kita mula cikgu.
Boleh. Okay.
Okay. uh, Good afternoon to Cikgu Syamimi and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much for taking the time to
Salam.
be our interviewee today. So if you're, how are you doing today?
Thank you. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Actually, I'm doing nothing and just be waiting for you for us to get the interview done. So how are you too?
We're good.
Good.
Thanks for asking.
Alright.
Can we start with the first question?
Okay, sure.
Okay, for the first question, in your experience while becoming a teacher, what is the most significant change in the Malaysian English language curriculum over the last decade?
Alright. So I have been teaching for almost 17 years. And based on my experience, one of the biggest changes is the shift from the exam-oriented approach to a more communicative and student-centered approach, which means that the English curriculum now has focused more on the communicative skills and student-centered approach. Personally, I noticed that the students are becoming more centered, confident, and they are becoming convincing and good in expressing the ideas in the classroom, because as we know that our Malaysian English curriculum has been focusing on the helping students to use the language in the real life situations rather than just mastering the grammar for the test. So I think that's a good change maybe in the Malaysian English curriculum.
Okay, I
Yeah.
agree. That is a good change, I think. Okay, the next question is, how do you integrate the aspiration of the Malaysia Education Blueprint or PPM into your daily lesson planning?
All right. So, when I plan my lesson, actually, I always refer to the our Malaysian Education Blueprint, because we teachers have to include the high order thinking skills as well as to involve our students in our lesson. So basically, when I refer to the guidelines, I will try to include the activities like group discussions, problem solving task, and also the use of digital tools because of the latest Malaysian Education Blueprint. We as teachers, we need to include the use of digital tools in our learning, because we are not just covering the syllabus, but we have to make sure that our students are able to use the skills that they can use beyond the classroom. So that's what I believe.
Since you gave us so many amazing points, I would like to know from your perspective, how has the shift toward meaningful learning changed the way students engage with the English language?
All right. So since our Malaysian English curriculum has shifted towards the student-centered approach, so I think I've seen the difference uh, in my students when we focus more on the meaningful learning, as we know that meaningful learning means that the students can relate the new information that they get with their prior knowledge, so that they are no longer sitting there quietly and just listening to the teacher, but now they are started to ask questions, they start to share their opinions, and they start to participate more actively in the lesson. And I believe that when we do meaningful learning, where the students can connect to their real life situation, they become more interested and motivated to learn English.
Okay, now that we're done our first theme, educational development and aspiration, we move to
Mhm.
our second theme, which is teacher character and competences. So, the first question is, what specific digital competencies do you find most essential for a 21st century English teacher?
Okay, so for the as a teacher today in the 21st century, I think that we need to use we teachers need to advance ourselves as well with the new technology. So for me personally, I regularly use the classroom, Google Classroom, and I sometimes I incorporate videos or interactive quizzes into my lessons. And more importantly, I think I see my role as a teacher to guide the students to use technology responsibly and effectively, especially when it comes to find information on their own and also to evaluate the information that they get. Perhaps maybe the latest technology that they are using is the AI or ChatGPT and Gemini. And sometimes I also encourage my students to do their presentation using all the interactive tools like Kahoot, quizzes, Canva, and so on. Yeah.
Well, about how does having an educated soul, such as integrity and leadership, impact your ability to manage a classroom effectively?
Okay, for me, I think being a teacher is not about just delivering the lessons. You don't just go into the classroom and talk and give information and knowledge to your students, but also to show my integrity and leadership as a teacher. I believe when I am fair, when I am consistent and genuinely take care of my students, they will respond to me positively. They will be interested in the classroom, and when they feel that I take care of them and I am fair with them and I respect them, so they will be more cooperative. And when they are understood and respected, that makes me to help me to manage the classroom better. Right.
Okay, the last question for the second team is, can you describe a time when you had to adapt your teaching style to meet a sudden change in educational policy or technology?
Okay, for the teaching style, there have been situations where I have to adjust my teaching approach, especially when I deal with the mixed ability classrooms. And because we know that in a mixed ability classroom, there will be weaker students and advanced students. So I learned to differentiate my teaching instructions by simplifying tasks for the weaker students, and also provide more challenging activities and exercises for the advanced students. And with the latest technology, there was time during the COVID that all teachers and students need to use the online learning. So that's how I learned to adapt teaching style to the sudden changes.
Okay, moving on to our next theme, which is community collaboration and consensus. How do you involve parents or the local community to help improve your student English proficiency?
Well, I try to involve students sometimes by when during the teacher parents meeting, I will tell them about their children's level in the classroom, and I keep them informed about their children's progress. And I also suggest some ways that they can help support their children at home. For example, they can encourage the children to read or do some basic conversations in English at home with whatever whoever they have at home, like their siblings or even their parents themselves. And with the community involvement, I believe that school or other parties can do events or competitions to help create a more supportive environment for the students to use English.
Hmm.
Yes.
Okay, so in what ways does your understanding of the students' local culture and social context influence the way you design learning experiences?
I think as a teacher, we really need to understand our students' background. So for me, understanding my students' background is very important because when I designing my classroom lesson, I will try at least to relate the lesson content to their daily experiences or local culture so that they can have the prior knowledge and they can relate and share their ideas or experiences during the lesson. And when the students can see themselves in what they are learning, they will become more engaged and also confident in using the language. So I think local culture or the social context of the students are very important so that the teacher can design the lesson plan accordingly. Yeah.
So, madam, with all of that
Yes.
experience, what are the biggest challenge have you faced when trying to build a learning ecosystem with external partners or parents?
Well, the challenges to build the learning ecosystem with the involvement of the parents and other parties, I think mostly is the time constraints and also the cooperation by themselves because getting consistent involvement from parents and external partners or like the community is a big challenge because parents are also busy working, so there are communication gaps or time constraints and whatnot. So I think building a strong learning ecosystem maybe takes time and patience and also continuous effort from both parties.
Hmm.
Yes.
Okay, so before we wrap this up, our last question and last tip for today is elevating the profession. So, based on your current field experience, what is one
Mhm.
major recommendation you would give to strengthen the relationship between schools and the community?
What was it actually? Can you repeat the question?
Based on your current field experience, what is one
Uh-huh.
major recommendation you could
Or
give to
recommendation.
strengthen relationship between schools and the community?
All right. So I think based on my opinion, maybe schools should create more opportunities for meaningful interactions with parents and the community. Maybe we can give ideas on organizing workshops or collaborative activities that can create build the trust and encourage responsibility from parents and also the community for their students learning. Maybe workshops or events or programs that like involve all parents and also the community surrounding. Yes.
Actually, I think that's such a great idea. And
Mhm.
moving on to our last question for today. Um, well, as an aspiring teacher currently studying the National Education Aspiration, what is one piece of advice you can give to us to help us stay resilient and keep the heart of an educator once we begin our career in a real school environment?
All right. So I think my advice would be like you have to always remember why you chose this path and why you choose to become a teacher, because I think nowadays the challenges of being a teacher is very high, especially with this Gen Z, because we so called Gen Z's or this latest generation of students. So you need to stay passionate, committed, and be open to learn more, be patient with yourself and the students, and most importantly, I think um, keep the heart of an educator in everything that you do. Yeah, always remember why you choose to be a teacher. Okay.
Hmm. Thank you so much, madam, for the advice.
Welcome.
Well, for your perspective on how to maintain the heart of an educator while navigating digital chances and community needs have given us a lot of authentic field data to analyze for our portfolio actually. Your advice to us as an aspiring teacher is especially meaningful as we begin our own journey in this profession. We truly appreciate your guidance and the dedication you show to your students. I will be sure to use this information to develop evidence-based recommendation for my academic paper. Thank you once again for your time and for being a wonderful learning partner. Thank you,
Thank
madam.
you,
You're very
madam.
welcome. Thank you and good luck and all the best. All
Thank you,
right. Thank
madam.
you.
Assalamualaikum, madam.
Bye. Waalaikumsalam.